The video you're about to see is for historical purposes only. It is an almost daily snippet of 1010 Wins broadcast in New York City and the New York City metropolitan area. On my morning commute, I listened to this news broadcast and decided to share a snippet of the news for historical purposes. The mission is to record history.
WINS FM in HD1 New York. Always live on the free Odyssey app.
Mostly cloudy, breezy, a shower in spots, and then maybe a drenching thunderstorm late this afternoon into this evening. Today's high 76. It is 68 now. More people get their news from 1010 Wins than from any other radio station in the nation. Sharon Barnes-Waters is our service aide. Justin Schrager is the editor. I'm Susan Richard.
All news, all the time. This is 1010 Wins at 92.3 FM, New York.
Good morning, 68 degrees, cloudy skies at 8 o'clock. On this Monday, June 12th, I'm Lane Pajardi, and here's what's happening. 2 deli workers arrested after a drunk man who barged into the bodega was choked into submission. Glenn Schuck has the story from Rockaway Park. Subway strangulation suspect Daniel Penny, in his own words, describing what happened before the death of Jordan Neely. We are breathing easier again this morning after last week's air quality crisis. Senator Schumer, though, wants more U.S. firefighters sent to Canada. A Tony Award ceremony like no other ever before for several reasons. Former President Trump will make remarks from his New Jersey golf club following his arraignment tomorrow on federal charges. Sports, Yankees lose to the Red Sox. Mets resume their losing streak in Pittsburgh. It's currently at 1. 1010 Wins AccuWeather, mostly cloudy, breezy, and more humid with a shower in spots. Rain and a drenching thunderstorm at times late this afternoon and into this evening. High of 76. Winds News Time 8:01. Traffic and transit with Karen Stewart.
Over in Brooklyn, the westbound Bell Parkway west of Flatbush Avenue has got a disabled vehicle blocking a lane. We've got westbound Bell Parkway delays that go back to Cross Bay Boulevard in this case. We've got eastbound Bell Parkway delays coming off the Verrazano Bridge and going out into Bay Parkway in Bensonhurst. By the way, the Staten Island Expressway is busy but not jammed at all. From the Goethals Bridge out into the Verrazano Narrows right now. Over the Hudson River, we're looking at 45 minutes inbound over at the Holland Lincoln GW Bridge. The inbound RFK is still not bad. We've got the inbound 59th Street Bridge busy. The inbound Queens Midtown Tunnel is doing, well, fairly well. And the inbound Brooklyn Battery Tunnel is a heavy ride, considering we've got all these Gowanus delays. They are very slow from 65th Street to 20th and then jam from 20th Street up into Atlantic Avenue. And the Van Wyck north and southbound has delays into Atlantic Avenue. The northbound delays go back to the Belt and the southbound delays go back to Queens Boulevard. We've got alternate side and street parking rules and regulations in effect today citywide. Traffic is sponsored by Whole Foods Market. Traffic and transit every 10 minutes around the clock. Breaking traffic alerts whenever they happen. I'm Karen Stewart, 1010 Wins on 92.3 FM.
Get your avocado fix at Whole Foods Market. Get 3 large Hass avocados for just $4 with Prime through June 13th. Add one to your morning smoothie for an otherworldly creamy texture. While supplies last, shop in-store or online. Terms apply.
Sunday morning mayhem at the Pickles and Pies Food Market in Queens leads to 2 arrests of deli workers. Glenn Schuck with a story this morning from Rockaway Park.
A man who says he's one of the managers here at the deli, not wanting to talk to me about what happened here yesterday, about 5:15 in the morning. 2 employees from here are now in police custody. What we do know, a 31-year-old man came in, again apparently drunk and cursing, when the 2 employees tackled him, and one of them started to choke the guy. 23-year-old Jorge Hernandez, the employee here, has been charged with strangulation and assault. His co-worker, 34-year-old Saber Abu Hamra, also charged with assault and harassment. Now, as for the man who was choked, he has not yet been identified. He's in critical but stable condition at St. John's Hospital this morning. Glenn Schuck, 1010 Wins, 92.3 FM, Beach 116th in Queens.
Lawyers for Daniel Penny have released videos of their client describing the day he put Jordan Neely in a deadly chokehold in the subway. 24-year-old says Neely was verbally threatening riders.
The 3 main threats that he repeated over and over was, I'm going to kill you, I'm prepared to go to jail for life, and I'm willing to die.
Penny says it was a frightening scene, even for himself as a Marine Corps veteran.
I was scared for myself, but I looked around, I saw women and children. He was yelling in their faces, saying these threats. I couldn't just sit still.
Benny says Neely was still breathing as he held him down and that he calibrated his grip based on the force he was exerting, hoping police would quickly come to the Broadway Lafayette station and end this. He says race had nothing to do with it and noted another person of color was assisting him in restraining Neely, who had dozens of prior arrests and was wanted at the time in connection with other erratic subway attacks. The Manhattan DA charged Benny with manslaughter. If convicted, he could face up to 15 years in prison. Wednesday News Time 8:04. Canadian wildfires that had such a big impact on our lives last week are still pumping smoke into the atmosphere. This morning, though, the air quality index has again dipped below 100 after some time in triple digits again Sunday. But nothing like that deep orange 484 we suffered through last week. Senator Chuck Schumer addressing the issue.
Last week, New Yorkers stepped outside and feeling like they were living in a chimney. We have never seen anything quite like New York looking like this. Now, to prevent another chimney-like experience from happening, we need to take action.
Calling on the White House to double the deployment of U.S. firefighters across Canada. Schumer notes there's $7 billion in the Bipartisan Infrastructure and Inflation Reduction Act for forest and wildfire management, so he says why not spend some of that in north of the border. There are so many large forest fires burning in Canada now that every forest firefighter in both countries combined couldn't put them all out. Wednesday News Time 8:05. Food delivery workers in the city can look forward to a pay raise soon, but some say it's not enough and it's way too late.
Mayor Adams says it's the city's way of delivering for those who've delivered for and to New Yorkers.
As a former paperboy, I lived off those tips. That is not the day that we're living in now.
Food app delivery workers will have their minimum wage rise from just over $7 an hour to $17.96 an hour July 12th. When this is fully implemented on April 1st, 2025, it'll go up to $19.96. But this was supposed to take effect this past January 1st. City Comptroller Brad Lander also says this rate is $3 short when accounting for expenses.
Our city can and should do better.
This will not cost customers extra, but could cut into restaurants' profits. Christy Kalishian, 1010 Wins on 92.3 FM.
69 degrees, mostly cloudy skies. It'll remain mostly cloudy, breezy, more humid today with a shower in spots. Then we get more significant rain and even a drenching thunderstorm at times late this afternoon and into this evening with a high of 76 in Midtown. Wednesday News Time 8:06. Pride front and center at the Tony Awards last night.
Despite the Writers Guild of America strike, the Tony Awards went on from New York City. Alex Newell of Shucked and J. Harrison Gee of Some Like It Hot are the first out non-binary performers to win acting Tonys.
Thank you for seeing me, Broadway. I should not be up here as a queer, non-binary, fat, black, little baby from Massachusetts.
For every trans, non-binary, gender non-conforming human, this is for you.
Host Ariana DeBose revealed to the audience on CBS that the only words that would be seen on the prompter, thanks to no writers, please wrap up.
Correspondent Matt Piper. Without writers, presenters were given the opportunity to go off script in a variety of ways, since there was no script. Some of them made political statements, among them Broadway veteran Danae Benton, who rose to present a special award to a teacher in Plantation, Florida.
CMU and the Tony Awards presented the 2023 Excellence in Theater Education Award. And while I am certain that the current governor of my home state of Florida will be changing.
Grand Wizard is a title given to the national leader of the Ku Klux Klan, then using the term to refer to Florida Governor and presidential candidate Ron DeSantis. Wednesday News Time 8:08. Now, while the WGA was the primary union of concern at the Tonys last night, it is the Laundry Distribution and Food Service Joint Board that's lost jobs to non-union labor on Broadway. LDFS union co-manager Albert Arroyo says after decades of cleaning the costumes for Broadway theaters, Ernest Windsor Cleaners has violated its union contract and dumped its entire union workforce.
Without the work of these workers, for example, the Rockettes cannot, I guess, perform without the costumes.
Arroyo says the work's now being done at a non-union facility on Long Island. In the town known as Oyster Bay, Long Island, outrage and disappointment after the latest drop of anti-Semitic flyers. While police step up patrols in case someone takes it to another level, The distribution itself falls under First Amendment protections.
I'm here at Young Israel of Plainview. This is the neighborhood where the anti-Semitic flyers were discovered in mailboxes over the weekend. The rabbi called the Nassau County Police. This is a repeat of what happened last summer in Rockville Center, where similar flyers were taped to front doors and cars. Jeffrey Pavado was the Town of Oyster Bay tax receiver.
We have our public safety patrols, and the supervisor Saladino has ordered stepped-up patrols around the synagogues. We've also been in constant contact with the Nassau County Police Department Commissioner Ryder, also the county executive, and they will also promise to step up patrols.
The rabbi here also contacted a private security company. If you receive one of the flyers, you are asked to call the authorities. Sophia Hall, 1010 Wins on 92.3 FM in Plainview, Long Island.
Former Italian Prime Minister Silvio Berlusconi has died. The media tycoon led 3 Italian governments between 1994 and 2011. He made a political comeback following a string of corruption and sex scandals a few years later that brought the term Bunga Bunga Party into the European lexicon. Berlusconi had been suffering from chronic leukemia. He was 86. Winds news time, 8:10 in northwest Yonkers last night. A car went flying through the air into a house after the driver killed a pedestrian.
Neighbors are mourning a 70-year-old woman who was mowed down by an out-of-control car that crossed the double yellow on North Broadway and jumped the curb.
Down the block, 70 years old. Walks every evening, retired, terrible. I just thank God my sister and them didn't die.
Bill's sister was in their home. The car mounted a 3-foot-high retaining wall, then crashed through the front of the house.
The car was actually inside the house.
The front end was in the living room.
The front end was in the living room. The tire was on the floor.
There's now a gaping hole to the left of the front door. Minor injuries for the folks in the home. The 54-year-old driver from White Plains is in the hospital. Investigators are trying to determine what happened. There are no tire marks, no signs that the driver attempted to hit the brakes. Sean Adams, 1010 Wins on 92.3 FM.